Hey guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 56. Guys, today we're looking at this house right here. It's in Dallas, Texas, and it's a little house. It's only a 2-bedroom house. It's only 1,000 square feet. And when you see even where it is, it's kind of like, it's like a tiny house, kind of. I realize it's not a tiny house, but it is kind of tiny. And so that kind of gets at the question for today, which is, do investors want small 2-bedroom houses? You know, because it's kind of problematic to sell a 2-bedroom house. People want 3 bedrooms or more, because once you have a family, once you have more than one kid, a 2-bedroom house, not really that great. So in general, I would say, if you're only going to watch 30 seconds of the video, I would say no, investors don't want 2-bedroom houses, okay? But we're going to look at this one because it is in Dallas. It's a nice little house, it appears. I haven't looked on the inside yet. We're going to do that together. And so, you know, we should take a look at it because it's a pretty good deal. Let's see who's offering this house. It's our friends at Fazio Real Estate Solutions. Here's that bad boy, 3903 Wanklin Court. No jokes about the name, folks. Dallas, Texas. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house built in 1985. Not that old. It's 1,100 square feet. It's on the tiniest of lots at 0.13 acres. They say ARV is $237,500. Did you know you could buy a house in Dallas, Texas for $237,500? I mean, a nice house. I'm assuming that would be for perfectly fixed up condition. It would be $237,000. They're offering it to us in its current condition at $125,500. Sounds pretty interesting. There's no HOA fees. This could be a good little rental. So let's jump into it. As far as the big 5 issues, they say no known issues on roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and foundation. Those are the big 5 that we're really worried about. And Fazio does a great job of telling us when we need to pay attention to one of those. They'll say, do your due diligence. And we'll see when we look at the photos, they were exactly right, you know. So they do a great job at that. And usually when they say no known issues, they put eyeballs on it and they think it looks pretty good in those categories. Just want to remind you, I don't have a relationship with Fazio. I use their content for these educational videos. In exchange of that, I do give them a shout out because they went and found this house, got it under contract. And guys, you can buy this house right now if you want to. You'd reach out to Jade Vaughn here. You can reach Jade at 214-646-9646. If you're interested in this house or any of the deals that you see that I feature, they have a lot of deals all over the state of Texas. I'm picking and choosing which ones I want to show, so they've got a lot more deals than I'm showing you. So that's the end of my pitch for Fazio. Thank you so much, Fazio, for being the victim of our video today. We're going to jump in and look at the pictures, but before we do, let me just show you. Here was the house, and if I back out, I see, whoop, I backed out too far. I really wanted to be back in. Hang on. I backed out too far. I didn't want to go back out that way. But here's that cul-de-sac. It's a cul-de-sac of little houses, and that one's there in the corner. One thing I'm noticing, guys, is there's not many places to park. Like every house could just have, like, you know, cars parked right in front of it, like we see right here, and there could be a limit to that. I'm assuming there is an alleyway. And did they say anything about, they didn't talk about garage or anything. Let's see if there is as we look around on this one. So as far as the neighborhood, if I come down here and whoops, something's going on out there. See, these are little places. It's almost like a tiny house neighborhood, but then you come out here and you're into a pretty normal looking area. This is the Redbird area in Dallas. And it looks fine to me. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. Here's where it is on the map. It's down here in the southwestern portion of the Dallas area, and almost to Duncanville. Real easy access up into the city on 67 and 35 East up into the downtown area. So nice place to live if you were working in downtown or elsewhere. Just need to get easy access to 20. So it's a pretty good location. As we go rolling in, we see that this thing has plenty of retail all around it. It's going to have all the main stuff. You've got a Golden Chick and a Chick-fil-A, so you got choice there as far as where you want to get your chicken. And then there's the shops at Redbird right here. Like, so if I just zoom back, here's the house. You come down Westmoreland Road, hit Camp Wisdom, and you're right there at the shops at Redbird. And this is a cool area. Lots of shops, stores, clothing, all kinds of stuff there for you. So it's going to be a pretty popular area. Starbucks, all that stuff. So it's densely populated and heavily supplied with chicken. That's one of my thoughts. There are plenty of chicken places around there. All right, so that's the house. That's where it is. That's the neighborhood. We kind of got the lay of the land. The first thing we do when we look at a house is we calculate the after repaired value. And that means what would the house be worth if we bought it and did all the repairs to it and brought it back to its perfect condition or, retail ready condition. The wholesaler Fazio says the after repaired value is $237,500. Now, what we always do is we calculate our own ARV because sometimes the wholesaler, maybe they're optimistic about what they think the house could be worth. Excuse me. And so when I do that, if you're not a licensed real estate agent or broker, you don't have access to the MLS, then I show you the way that we do it by looking at public sites. Now, if you are licensed and you have access to the MLS, you would do what's called a competitive market analysis, and it would give you a little bit better view of what the value might be if you put the house on the market. And so as I mentioned, what we'll do today is we look at Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and I have a service called Property Radar. I take those four values and I average them. Today I want to talk to you about median versus mean. We'll look at that in just a second. But going back, this house on Zillow is at 197, and that's, they said it was up to 213 at one point in their price history. Redfin's got it at a higher value at 214,123. Redfin tells us kind of leans towards the seller's market, pretty quick days on market at 37 days on market is very good right now. Houses selling pretty close to their list price around 270 in that zip code. When we go to Realtor's telling us for this property 235. And did I have anything I wanted to tell you about it from their stuff? Not really. I don't think so. No, it's assessed at 172. This home's 235. There's others that are on the street on that same court, 224, 228, 232. So the 235 probably sounds reasonable, and Realtor got that 235 from CoreLogic. So Realtor's using these services and often I think kind of averaging what they find there. On Property Radar, I think I had it at 235 as well. If I go over to my calculator now, we're going to put in what we got off each of the sites. Zillow said 197,800 as their estimate. Redfin at 214, Realtor 235. Property Radar, excuse me, was 240. Now, I do really like Property Radar. I like the Realtor estimate because I know it came from CoreLogic, and I have a huge amount of trust in CoreLogic as well. I think the value of the home, this home's probably going to sell closer to that 235, maybe even a little bit more. What brought our average down is Zillow. You and I have talked about this a few times now, in that Zillow has really started to bring those estimates down, at least here in Texas. I don't know what it's like there in your area, but it makes Zillow the least optimistic value that we get from all these websites. And in some cases, in the case of comparing Zillow to Property Radar, that what we're seeing is a pretty big spread, like a $40,000 spread between those two. If I take the average, the Zillow number really brings that average down. And I found that, at least for today, I thought, hey, I'll do a little experiment. Instead of average, I'll do median. And the median gives me a value that's a little more what I think is realistic, or, a little off. It doesn't allow Zillow to pull the average down so much when you go to median. Median kind of takes out the outliers a little bit, if you will. So in this case, computing median rather than average, it actually says about $3,000 more. That's what we're going to go with today. And to get there, I put in the address. And by the way, you guys, if I go grab a number, I just want to show you all this. If I grab a number off Zillow, say it's that, and I do a copy, and I come over here, if I was to drop that in there and just paste, boom, messes up the spreadsheet. So what I do is I come in here and I go paste special values only. And that's just a little tip in case you're going to, if you go grab the address, drop it in your spreadsheet, you want to do paste special values only and get your address pasted in properly. Same thing, you could come over here and grab your 1096, etc. Drop them into your spreadsheet, paste special values only. Okay, end of my tech tip for today. Okay, so what I found is when I put my square feet in, that it was at 205 a square foot when I got up to that 224,000 median value of the home. And that's what we're going with as our ARV today. If the house now, you guys, again, if you're new, I'm going to pardon me for you guys that have been with me for 55 episodes, but for the newer guys, I'll just say really quickly, we compute the ARV, then we do the cost, the repair estimate. And then using those two values, we compute the cash offer using a discount factor. We talk about this in the videos over time, that 0.7, 0.65, 0.75, whatever, we're going to talk about discount factors a little bit more in the future even. But right now, go back to episode 50 and Joel and I talk about it. That's kind of what I would say there. We're going to stick with 70 as our discount factor. We're in Dallas, Texas, very competitive market and a very active market. So we know that we're probably, and we also saw very low days on market. If you remember, Joel said if days on market is high, he's got to go down on his discount factor. If days on market are pretty quick, he can actually go up a little bit on his discount factor. And so we're using 70. What does that mean? If the house was in excellent condition, it'd be worth 225 at the 70% discount factor. If it needed 0 in repairs, we could pay $157 in cash for the house. Now, if we go back and look, what are they asking for? $125. Well, that gives us $27,000, right? What did we say? What did they go back? $157. Yeah, right. Gives us $22,000. God, what's wrong with my math? It's 157. Yeah, gosh. All right, guys, it gives us a little bit of a budget to fix up the house, and so around $32,000. I think that's the number I was trying to calculate. So it looks like a deal, right? I mean, other than the fact that it's a 2-bedroom house, and most investors don't want 2-bedroom houses because most people don't want 2-bedroom houses. This is a little rental in Dallas, could be a good deal for you. And so 125, not too bad. And they said no known issues. So it's really going to come down to what are the repairs necessary on this place. Right now, we don't have anything in there. We could pay $157. Let's go look at the pictures and see what we see and see what we would estimate the repairs to be. All right. This is my favorite part. You guys know that. I love seeing the pictures, and I have not seen them. And I like to look around to see what I'm getting into here. There's a lot of pictures. Quite a few. I'm going to keep the pace up. No movies. I didn't see any movies. Here we are on the cul-de-sac, and in this case, we see people parking kind of sideways and taking up the space of 2. But I think you're the parking is always going to be an issue, I think, on this cul-de-sac. They got it well covered in the photos. Here's the picture of the front. Obviously needs some trim. The bushes are overgrown. Brick looks good. I like that brick. If we look at the fascia, the front side of the eave here, you can see it looks like this thing might need some exterior paint. Probably been a while, maybe since 1985 is what they said, right? 1985, probably 85 since they painted this thing. That color was very popular in 1985, by the way. We're in the house now, and we see looks like a an LVP type flooring product. Nice. We don't care so much about colors because in general we're going to repaint anything that we get. So we're not walking into a house and going, oh, I hate that paint color. We're walking into a house and looking for, are there cracks? Are there, issues that we can see, evidence of mold, discoloration, anything that might cause us to think there could be a structural or, quality issue with the house, not the colors or anything like that. And now we do like to keep the flooring product if it's good, and it's nice if we don't have to do anything with the ceiling, like if it's in good shape, no popcorn, and it's clean white, looks good. Really nice when you go and just paint the walls. That's like the lightest of cosmetic. And it's hard to tell, honestly. There is something kind of weird about this floor in that you see a straight seam going like this, almost like that area is its own little box. And that's not generally how you would do it. You would have these, offset. You wouldn't see that line there. There's something kind of unusual about that. Almost makes me wonder if there was some damage to the floor and they had to replace that section. And that would be one of the things that would cause me to say, dang, I can't use this floor. No big deal. We'll just tear it up, go with our own product. Walls look kind of pink. I told you I wasn't going to comment on that, but come on. Pink. Anyway, don't see any cracks. Don't see any, I don't know what's going on over here. It could just be the photo. But if I was in the room with my eyeballs, I would be looking over there and make sure that's not something. Definitely got some fun stuff going on here. Oh, we do see the popcorn. And in that last picture, I didn't notice popcorn, those last couple of pictures, but I do think it's there. As we talked about in episode 50, Joel and I were talking about, if you're going to replace the floors, it's just, you're going to go ahead and get rid of that popcorn. It makes a huge mess. That would be the point. The popcorn on the ceiling, you have to scrape it off. And it makes a huge mess. If you're trying to keep carpet, it would be very difficult. But, you can deal with it either way, whether you're replacing the floor or not. Also, I noticed flat doors, not more the modern type interior doors we would have, which kind of have some framing in them that makes them, prettier. These are kind of the most basic of flat wooden doors, and they look kind of dirty. So yeah, all that stuff's got to be painted. Would replace those doors just to modernize. I don't know who that is. I don't know that. I think it's Jasmine Crockett, but that makes no sense. Okay, we're just looking around. Okay, yeah, same thing. Yeah, and there's a flooring product. Well, that's going to be a wild card. Get in there and figure out if those floors are any good, because they don't look bad in the photos. This stuff does look a little worn out, Man, you're talking 45 years ago, right? 40 years ago, something like that. 40 years ago. My math is not mathing today in my brain. But, yeah, builder's grade, everything. This stuff's pretty easy to replace, and I would certainly consider that. Can't see much inside there. We see it's just kind of that tile backdrop with the, looks like brick. All right. A little bit of stuff going on the ceiling up there. Not much. Doesn't look particularly crazy. Very dirty around the edges. 40 years of, I don't think his house probably been painted since it was built. Just my guess. I mean, you think about the colors that we're seeing and all. I mean, like the crazy colors in the bedrooms, yeah, but you know, the bathrooms, the exterior, etc. I think they're original. I think they're original paint. All right, so we kind of get a little bit of a sense of layout. There might be laundry in this dining, and I think we're in the living room. Again, kind of looking for. I do think these floors are gonna have to go. I'm seeing things. I swear that's tape, right? And then this is a different type of floor than that. So yeah, all the flooring's got to go. Pretty sure. I mean, you could maybe keep it in closets or whatever, but not here in the kitchen. I think it needs to be matching to the whole house. And looks like they might have done some popcorn removal in the past. Hard to tell. Just painted their cabinets gray. They got a little granite on there. Doesn't look horrible. All right. Doesn't look horrible. It's all easy stuff to fix. These doors are off. If they're those doors that kind of sandwich back, they're always off the runners. I rarely see them on. Rarely see those doors hanging. So under the sink, hard to tell from that picture. Here's your garbage disposal. Everything looks fine. Can't determine if there's anything not fine right there. Oh, they got several pictures of that. Several pictures. All right, washing machine. I think this was at the end of the kitchen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the kitchen, it's just at the end of the kitchen was this little laundry room, and it's side by side there. Yep. The wall texture looks fine. I'm not seeing any cracks or anything that would make me think serious foundation. Yep. Galley kitchen. Don't love them, but it's not bad. And they got modern countertops, good backsplash to work with. Cabinets look okay. You might need to repaint them, but maybe not. Maybe not. Depends on if you're going to go rental or if you're buying this. Now, I think this would make for a good rental. Yep. Walls, floors, countertops, things look good. Appliances, probably okay. I don't know if that's the original 1985 stuff. They've gone with black. Looks all right. It may be, like, again, in a rental, this stuff's probably fine. If you're selling it, you might want to swap those things out. Okay, looking over here into that dining area. Got some wainscoting, a little extra freezer over there in case you need a popsicle while you're eating dinner. All right, and again, don't see cracks. See, that door over there, that's a modern door. That's what I'm talking about, like with framing in it. And it was just kind of odd to me that in that bedroom I think we were in, it had flat doors, because I thought by 85 we were on modern doors. See, there's a flat door, there's a modern door, so those doors don't match. I'm not sure how you get there. That's kind of a different situation than I was imagining. Heavy popcorn on the ceiling in here. I'm going to think this is the master. Because it's got probably a closet and an ensuite bathroom, and it has kind of a coffered, or what you'd call that type of ceiling, but a little bit fancier than in maybe the other bedrooms. And again, this got carpet in it, so it's all the flooring needs to go. Yeah, and that carpet looks bad. That's an 85 carpet if I ever saw it. 1985. I believe this would be the bathroom off the master, the ensuite for the master. It's a cute little bathroom. That blue is nice and cheery. But yeah, I think it looks fine. Better faucet than the other one had. Probably needs to be painted. I think both of them could use new countertops, faucets, all that stuff. Again, if you're doing a rental, maybe don't care about that. You just clean it really well. But if you're doing a sell, you might want to go the extra step to put the new vanities in so that everything's nice and crisp, and then either clean up or re-tile the tub. You're not going to know until you get there and look at it if that tub's got to be replaced, or if it could be cleaned, or if it could be refinished. And you can do all those things. Yep. Here's another view. Popcorn. Pretty much what we expected. All right. Looking under the sink there. Can't see much. It would be nice if they'd gone to one side or the other and not left that beam right there in the center of our view. That's okay. That's okay. Got several views of that. Still was just stuck in that bathroom. You can see, look, they came in and did their blue thing, but that original tile was that beige color, tan. I would probably come in there and just beige these walls, off-white them or whatever. Make it look like it's supposed to be that way. We've also talked about this, that I don't want glossy paint in the main living areas. It's shiny. Looks like a bathroom or kitchen. The wainscoting, you could keep it or not. No big deal. Doesn't look bad. I don't think most people would question it. We're out in the garage full of junk. Otherwise, looks fine. I like that it's painted. It was probably painted a long time ago, but at least it was painted. I've seen houses where the garage wasn't painted, and the sheetrock actually ages more quickly than it would because if it was painted, because it absorbs moisture. So paint really saves the sheetrock in your garage. You should always do that. Something happened here. There might have been some, maybe somebody fell through, or maybe a whole family fell through. I don't know, at once. Or there was something that they had up there, like an air conditioning unit or something might have leaked into the ceiling, and they had to pull those pieces out. I'm not seeing water damage there, but something happened. Not a huge deal to fix that, particularly with that out here in the garage. All right, fencing doesn't look great. I have a feeling that also could use some TLC, and all the green stuff around the house is overgrown, the bushes and everything. Looking pretty overgrown. Peek into the, I think, shared backyard there. I don't know that any of these people really have a backyard, because I'm pretty sure that's the house next door. Not 100% sure. But I would tell you, as I look at this thing, this is almost like a tiny house. The 2-bedroom thing, the 1,000 square foot total size, sitting on this cul-de-sac on a 0.13 acre lot. This is dang near a tiny house. It does appear to have an okay condenser unit, although that could be from 85, who knows? Maybe newer, who knows? Would be good if they showed the label on it. That would be nice. Get a little bit better look at it. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't look bad. They said there were no known issues. I wonder if they'll show us the inside. Oh, we're getting so close to a label, but probably not. Oh, look at that. I spoke too soon. What can I determine? I'm not seeing a year that it was built, but what you see here is a serial number. You can just start Googling this stuff. In fact, you could even take a picture of this, upload that picture to ChatGPT and say, can you help me determine when this air conditioning unit was made? And I bet it could. But otherwise, I would just get that serial number or that manufacturer's number, whatever that is, and Google those and get a pretty good sense of when that thing was built. It looks fine. Honestly, it looks really good. It's one of the most, I think they're proud of it because they're showing us a lot of pictures of it. Oh, and here's one in the backyard. That makes me, like, I didn't think that other one looked necessarily brand new. And I still don't know if that looks brand new. But this is actually making me think it could be pretty new. Like, we're seeing the old 1985 condenser unit. Now, it would be nice to get rid of that, but, maybe they want to keep it for some reason. Back to showing you that damage. And I do appreciate that when a wholesaler, if there's damage and they've shown it to you and you're aware of it, there's no surprises when you go look at the property. And now look at the cute little house, man. It's got a little front porch, dormers. The roof doesn't look bad to me. That roof looks pretty good. I've told you, photos can be deceptive when it comes to roof. I do want to make sure it's not leaking around that fireplace chimney. Going and looking up there, yeah, that just looks like original paint to me, original windows, all that kind of stuff. There we go. And there you see how close you are to your neighbor. That's your neighbor's house. And that's your entry. Yeah. I guess it's not horrible. The garage falling in again. Now maybe this is a gamer setup. Somebody watches TV here and somebody's gaming over here. So they don't dominate the television all the time. Yeah, it's hard to tell with this flooring product. What I'm starting to notice is they didn't lay that product offset. Look at that. They put these boards down just straight. And this, I think, was that section that we saw was just everything was straight. I don't think that's what you want to do in general. You don't want these straight seams. And yeah, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird to me. TJ's room again, very red. Man, isn't it the bathroom that we saw last that was painted a different color? I'm not 100% sure. I think these might be old photos. We got into these ones that were at the bottom of the set. I think they might be a little older. All right, let's wrap this up, my friends. What did we learn here? We learned that this was a full cosmetic, and I'm going to throw full repairs at it as well. They said no electrical, plumbing, foundation, roof. I didn't really see much of that. I do think it needs exterior paint and cleanup. Now, if we started saying, it needs to replace the bathtub, then I would start to really add even double the cosmetic. If we were going to replace bathtubs and things like that. I think basically what I want to account for is the exterior paint. And in that case, I need about $2,000, $3,000 more. If I said 1.25, that puts me at, yeah, that's pretty good. 1.25 gives me $13,000 to paint and refloor and paint, inside, outside, and reflooring. Another $6,500 for general repairs that we find along the way. That's a $2,000 or $20,000 rehab budget for this 1,000 square foot house. Sounds about right for cosmetic. What did they want for this thing? They wanted 125, and my model's at 137. That gives me another 12 to find. If we came in here and we found this was much worse, that I had another 3,000 there, and let's say this was much worse. I found a lot more repairs. Now I'm at a $26,000 budget, $24 a square foot, and I'm still above what they're asking for. So right now, here's what I'm going to say about this house. Number one, thank you, Fabio. Fabio. Thank you, Fazio. I think this was a good deal that you sent us, and I really appreciate seeing it. I think it's very likely worth the 125K asking price that you have on this house. Now, I do believe once we got in there, we might find that it needs more repairs. That once we get our eyeballs on it, we start to realize that, all this flooring's got to go, everything's got to go. There's more repairs than we anticipated. It could eat up a little more than 26,000, but it's still only 1,000 square foot house. So your renovation costs are half what it would cost to renovate a 2,000 square foot house. So, I'm just going to stop here and say I think this is a pretty good deal, with the caveat that real estate investors generally don't want 2-bedroom houses. We generally think 1,000 square feet is too small for the target market that we want to sell or rent to. And I don't like the parking situation there. And I think retail buyers are going to not like it, that parking situation. If I was to come back up, excuse me for a second, I was just trying to see if there was. Yep. Look at this. There is an alleyway behind there, and there is a garage entrance. So it's not that big of a deal. I think it's just the people coming to visit that are going to be crammed into the cul-de-sac there. But the houses have their garage access from the rear with that alleyway. So that makes sense to me. Makes total sense. Look, I kind of like this place. It wasn't a bad deal. It wasn't a bad deal at all. As a rental, it'd be cool to have it. I just, the 2-bedroom situation is not strongly appealing to most of your buyers and renters, and that's going to be the holdback on it. Otherwise, pretty good deal. Thanks, Fazio. Hey, guys, that's it for today. Just remember, we are building this community of smart and capable real estate investors. We want you to be a part of it if you're not already subscribed. Did you guys notice? Look down below. We broke 1,000 subscribers this past weekend. I'm very pleased about that. I think we're well on our way to building the community that I'm kind of dreaming of here. I'd like to have thousands of you guys out there in the U.S. working together with us to find deals and bringing them back. And we can help you fund those deals. We can find cash buyers for those deals. There's a lot of ways that we're going to be able to work together. And if you're a cash buyer, we're trying to find opportunities that we can bring to you so that you can make better investments yourself. So that's it for today from us. Go to Cash Offer Masterclass for more information. You can always search for Cash Offer Masterclass on Google and YouTube. Go right to the content. Guys, it was a pleasure spending some time with you today. I'm looking forward to episode number 60. My guest is going to be Ray Williamson from Kiavi. They're one of the largest, if not the largest, lender to real estate investors in the United States. And Ray is going to tell you how investors fund their deals. So join us on the upcoming episode number 60. I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day.